Membership means more with American Express Business Gold. Earn 4 times membership rewards points in your top 2 eligible spending categories every month, including eligible U.S. advertising purchases and select media, and U.S. purchases at restaurants, including takeout and delivery. What are you waiting for? Get the card that flexes with your spending every month. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
And now, listen to this on the Toddcast podcast.
Give me an R! One letter that gave it away. You've known Helix since the 70s. Rocky was all over. Friday night videos, Good Rockin' Tonight. Helix weren't just local heroes, they were national superstars. And when their singer Brian Vollmer joined us, we talked about what Canadian entertainment looked like when the band formed. He goes, the only other entertainment back then was the bowling alley or the pool hall. Helix reunited in 2009 for an album and have been on the road since 2011, touring with huge bands, Kiss, Aerosmith, Motley Crue, Alice Cooper. And something from our interview surprised some people. Brian didn't grow up in a musical house, but there was influence, his grandpa. So family kind of pointed the way. We talked about meeting Joe Cocker, his first concert, touring with Chips Enough. COVID came up, marketing the band, working with Took, the toll of life in a band on the family, singing with the Ontario Youth Choir back in the day, and then the heavy stuff came up. How Canada is losing the training ground for upcoming bands. Small venues disappearing, COVID slamming doors that never reopened. Listen to this.
People don't realize it, but there's no place to train. Like, okay, you can go down to the corner bar and play your ass off for like forever. But if you want to be a truly eclectic performer and have a world view to your music, you need to get out and travel and see the world. You know, the whole world isn't the corner bar in your, you know, or your local watering hole. Mm-hmm. Out across the country. And I had a band actually stay here that was touring, and it's really tough for young bands. Because the rooms aren't supplied a lot of times.
Right.
Or they're working for the door. I believe the band was called The Fixer, and they're from Thunder Bay, and they came and stayed. Their dad approached me and said, look, they'll sleep in the floor of the garage. I said, well, I'm not going to make them sleep on the floor of the garage, but they could sleep on the floor of my basement as a rug. And so that's what they did. And I hardly even knew they were there, to tell you the truth. They must have talked among themselves to stay out of my hair as much as possible. But it was a great feeling because I felt like I was mentoring these people to an extent, and a pretty good band. The Fixer.
The Fixer is a great name for a band as well.
Yeah.
You know, that was the thing about COVID too, that really like further to your book that you're going to put out. What's it called again? The book's called what?
Golden Age of Canadian Bar Circuit.
Golden Age of Canadian Bar Circuit.
And you know what? I'm a qualified to write that book because Helix was the first band ever to play from Atlantic to Pacific through the bars. Many bands flew out to the coast, like Major Hoople's Boarding House, for instance, right, or Copper Penny. Then ground, they'd fly out to the East Coast. But we actually went week by week by week. In fact, I can even tell you the bars we played. We'd start off in Kitchener, and then we'd drive up to North Bay and we'd play the St. Regis Hotel. From there, we'd go to the Water Tower in Sault Ste. Marie. From there, we'd go to the Landmark in Thunder Bay. From there, we'd go to the Norlander in Winnipeg, then the Albion in Portage la Prairie, and then the Scary Nights or Regina Nights in Regina, or we'd go to the A4 in Saskatoon, and then over to Alberta. We play the Airliner in Calgary, the Beverly Crest Hotel in Edmonton. Then we go down and play the Westward in Medicine Hat, the Alec Arms in Lethbridge, and then we'd skip over to Alberta. We play Outlaws in Vancouver, and then there was a whole whack of bars I can't even remember, but week by week, and it was grueling. And we lost our wives, our girlfriends. You know, sometimes they alienated the family, but there's, I don't know what to say about that.
There's rock to be had.
Yeah. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, loss of family.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that furthers the point that I was going to make, Brian, is that COVID really screwed that part of the industry as well, shutting down venues. And, it's been kind of gradually doing that on its own anyway, where you're losing those venues where you can play 50, 100 people. And suddenly you're getting these bands like The Fixer that plays Vancouver, but nobody knows them and what they're going to play a 500-seater. Nobody's going to show up.
Well, the problem is, back in the day, as I said before, we were the only game in town. There was no other entertainment. Nowadays, if you play in a bar, there's two ways to make money off the band: the bar and the door.
Mm-hmm.
For the casino, they don't even care about the bar or the door. They care about getting people out on the gambling floor. In the case of festivals, a lot of them are sponsored by government, or they got some source of revenue. Booths that are selling everything from T-shirts to motorcycle parts. So it's become diversified, and bars sadly can't compete with a lot of that stuff.
Listen to This on the Toddcast podcast is brought to you by Tedco RV Supplies in Langley, an ICBC-approved repair shop. Visit them on Facebook and Twitter at Tedco RV Supplies.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
The Regency era. You might know it as the time when Bridgerton takes place, or the time when Jane Austen wrote her books. But the Regency era was also an explosive time of social change, sex scandals, and maybe the worst king in British history. And on the Vulgar History podcast, we're going to be looking at the balls, the gowns, and all the scandal of the Regency era. Vulgar History is a women's history podcast, and our Regency era series will be focusing on the most rebellious women of this time. That includes Jane Austen herself, who is maybe more radical than you might have thought. We'll also be talking about queer icons like Anne Lister, scientists like Mary Anning and Ada Lovelace, as well as other scandalous actresses, royal mistresses, rebellious princesses, and other lesser-known figures who made history happen in England in the Regency era. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural then and now.